G'day folks. Today we're kind of one of the first serious days of maple syrup season. Real weird. It's the first season I've ever seen where we're drawing sap in February. Not sure what's up with that, but we got about 1 week and then she goes cold again for who knows how long, but basically we'll get one good run out of it. Wanted to show you a little bit of the 3/16 vacuum system, the gravity vacuum. I've had it for about 6 years now. I like and hate it, but I think in my application it's my best bet. I'll flip you around here. So it goes way up and away. Let's see if I can zoom in. So not this ridge, but there's another one way back up in there. You might be able to see the skyline. So that snow goes up even higher. Basically what my point is it's not exactly practical to do buckets, so this is kind of what we're with, and I don't have hydro over here and I'm not investing in a big vacuum system, so it's working within my parameters. So on these lines, on this one bucket, I have over 200 taps on it, just over, and it produces all right. It's not great. It's I don't know, it's I feel it's almost the output of say like 100 buckets, but it's hard to really make an assessment because we're on a north facing slope and all that good stuff. So this video I guess is more showing the less optimistic side of 3/16. One thing that I've had a big issue with is you'll notice it intermingled in the bush, and especially along the road here you got evergreens, and what that does is it loses about an hour and a half of prime morning sun. The sun comes up from over there and directly swings behind these trees, and what that does is it doesn't allow the sun to hit all the line, so it might be running up top but then down here still frozen, whereas the buckets would be just giving her the beans. Looking at these lines here, we're going to be going up and doing an assessment. You'll notice there's a lot of air. That means we either got squirrel holes or we got leaking taps, and I'll show you how we find them. So anyways, we're going to start over on this side and go from there. So here's what we have as an issue. Right there we have a squirrel, took a bite out of her. You can kind of see it's adding air on those solid, so it's solid right now. It's adding air. So we gotta stuff a splice in there. So this is what we need to add in. Problem with this stuff, if it really goes boing, she's running good. It's hard to warm up before she gets cooled back down. Alright, see if we can grab the other end. There's actually another Hole right there too. Don't know if that's a hole or not, but we'll go ahead and knock it out too. Alright. This is where things get really tricky. They make a tool for putting these together, but they're about $300. There we go. There's one more down. What you're looking for when you're walking around testing stuff, you want to be able to go over to the tap. Hopefully you can hear the vacuum sucking on it. And that's what you get as a result, more air. What that does is it shows everything between that particular tap and your downhill tank is clear and pulling vacuum. Worst thing that can happen that I find is you get a blockage somewhere, and I'll see if I can find one to showcase you what that's with, or what the results are of that. Let's see if I can find one. Let's carry on. So what we have here is an example of a leaking tap. Seems to have fixed it. Another one, same tree. It is sometimes not helpable. What happens is if you don't get a nice round hole at the tap, or you get a crack in your tree by hammering it too hard, you can't seal it up. I don't find leaks too bad unless it's so bad that it's actually leaking out. The sap is leaking out. You are losing some vacuum, which is, yes, negating the benefits of having vacuum line, but if you're still getting sap down your pipeline, you're good. Worst thing is a plugged line, or even just restricted. When I see lines like this, I can pretty well tell that most of the line is good. However, the only problem you can have when you got something as pretty as that, so that's a full line with very few bubbles, the only problem you can have is you have plugs further up. You're not leaking anything, but you should go up and check and make sure you don't have any plugs. But when you got a good view like that, I don't have too much cause for concern. If the bubbles are long, it means it's running slower, but short little bubbles, very far spaced out, means there's not too much air getting into the system. Another bad air leak. Seems like you got it. So this is the last tap on the entire spout. It'll have the max amount of vacuum. Another thing that can happen is that the hoses just eventually lose their tension on the barb, so then you need to jam it back on. Well, we got 2 lines of the 10 or so that are set up good, working flawless. First part of the year, you spend a fair bit of time just running around your bush, making sure you get no drill shavings or scum or bug or whatever bunging up your lines. But after you get it established, you're okay kind of leaving it alone. Still wouldn't hurt to take a walk once a week right through the center. You'll see a lot of issues either from at the bottom or walking through the center of your lines, but midway up. So if you got 50 taps, walk at 25-ish. You'll see if you're backed up, and it wouldn't hurt to walk the top line too. Anyways, let's see if we can find you an issue. So let's see if we finally got this one figured out. This line I've been fighting, trying to get unplugged. It'd clear for a bit and then it would back up again. So a symptom of a plugged line is that it'll pressurize and squirt out. So we got no vacuum, and it's actually pressurizing a little bit. It's not terrible, but I'm not sure why it's this slow. So there is a restriction somewhere. Now it could be that it's flowing too hard today, and this line in particular can't keep up. This line has, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was something close to 70 taps on it. I went full bore on this one, I think. Anyway, there's quite a few. So it might be it can't flow it, but I don't think that's the case. Let's go looking. I suspect this one over here will be pressurized. A little bit. Huh. Okay. So there is an issue of some kind, but we'll just have to go find it. So this line, it goes down here to that tree, and then it cuts across over here, so we're going to pop over there. It's pulling good and hard here. So if it's got that kind of vacuum, then it only makes sense that there's some restriction up here. The reason I say that is because if it's flowing enough down there to make vacuum, it should be able to kind of keep up. Good suction. This is a section I was having issues with. Test the first one. Good vacuum. Good vacuum there. Also good vacuum. So if I was guessing, there's a restriction in one of these. It is also possible that there's just too much horizontal run on this one and not enough fall. But it is vacuuming just below it, and so it's only 6 or 7 trees that aren't receiving full vacuum, but they're not terrible, because it goes to that tree and then it goes way up the hill, and on top of the hill it catches about I think 20 some taps up there, so it's not backing up heavily. So I don't think there's a major issue. What a person ought to do is see what happened on this line. I wanted to try something, so I actually combined two. I took the tail of my western top, which is over there, and connected it to this one behind me that ran up the hill, and I buttoned them together because I didn't think they would have. I wanted to do a test and see if I could flow enough down and what my limit would be. So that could be the problem, but it's flowing, so I'm not overly worried. No backing up, pressurized up. We got one more line to test, so we'll walk over there and check it. There, fix that. So we basically got all the problems. The bush is working good. It's not a crazy running day. There's not sun, but we'll probably get 100 gallons or so by the end of the day. So, not bad. Anyways, just thought I'd give you a little walk around tour of the sugar bush. I'll try not to get bored and add more taps, because that just ends up giving me more work. And when the season actually kicks off, I'm swamped anyways, so it's best if I don't get too carried away. I started out with I think 75 taps, and then every year I've like, oh, I got nothing to do, we better add some more taps, and then next thing you know, we got lots of taps in.